Willow Creek was a quiet town, the kind of place where people trusted their neighbors and believed in the goodness of others. No one was more respected than Pastor James Holloway. He was the town's spiritual leader, a devoted husband to Margaret, and a father figure to many. When Margaret's sister and her husband died in a car crash, the couple took in their 15-year-old niece, Olivia Carter. Everyone admired them for their kindness, a loving husband, a caring wife, a young girl in need, the perfect family. But beneath the surface, something was terribly wrong, and Margaret was about to find out the truth. Margaret first noticed it when Olivia started avoiding James. She wouldn't look him in the eyes. She would flinch when he touched her shoulder. Then there were the late-night talks in his study, the whispered conversations that stopped the moment Margaret entered the room. At first, she told herself she was imagining things. James was a man of God. He loved Olivia like a daughter. But one night, Margaret woke up to the sound of quiet sobbing. She followed the noise to Olivia's room. The door was locked. Her heart pounded. She knocked softly. "Olivia, are you okay?" A long pause, then a shaky voice. "I'm fine." Margaret knew she wasn't. That was the moment she decided to find out what was really going on. The next morning, while James was in the shower, Margaret did something she had never done before. She unlocked his phone. Her hands trembled as she opened his messages. What she found made her stomach drop. Texts, photos, videos, all proof that her husband, the man she trusted with her life, had been preying on Olivia. Margaret felt sick. The water from the shower stopped. She had seconds before he came out. She put the phone back and rushed out of the room. James kissed her on the cheek when he came downstairs. "Morning, sweetheart." Margaret smiled weakly, but something inside her had broken. For the next 2 weeks, Margaret played the perfect wife. She cooked his meals. She sat through his sermons. She smiled at church. But every night she gathered more evidence. She installed a hidden camera in his study. She copied every disgusting message onto a flash drive. She wasn't going to the police. No, this was something she had to take care of. It was a Sunday. After service, James sat in his favorite chair, reading his Bible. Margaret placed her phone on the table in front of him and pressed play. James's own voice filled the room. "You know I love you, Olivia. This is our little secret. If you tell anyone, they won't believe you." The voice recording played from Margaret's phone, the words twisting like a knife in her gut. James's face drained of color. His hands gripped the armrests of his chair as he slowly looked up at her. "Margaret." His voice was calm, careful. "Where did you get that?" Margaret didn't answer. She just reached behind her, gripping the revolver she had taken from the kitchen drawer. James's eyes flickered to the gun. His body tensed. "Margaret." He raised his hands slightly, palms open. His voice took on that gentle, convincing tone he always used in his sermons. "We can talk about this. I don't know what you think you found, but whatever it is, it's not what you think." She shook her head. "No, James." Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled. "We can't talk about this." She tightened her grip on the gun, her finger moving to the trigger. James's eyes darted toward the door, calculating. Margaret saw it happen in slow motion. He lunged forward, reaching for the gun. Bang! The gunshot ripped through the air. James's body jerked back, his hands clutching at his chest. A deep red stain spread across his white button-down shirt. He staggered, his mouth opening in shock. Blood. So much blood. He fell backward into his chair, knocking over the small table beside him. His Bible tumbled to the floor, landing open on a random page. Margaret's breath came in shallow gasps. The smell of gunpowder filled the room. Her ears rang from the gunshot. James let out a choked gasp, his fingers twitching as if trying to reach for something. Her, the Bible, the gun, and then nothing. His body slumped forward, his chin resting against his chest, his lifeless eyes still half open. It was over, or so she thought. Margaret stood frozen, staring at the man she had once loved, the man she had trusted, the man she had just killed. Her mind raced. The plan had been simple. Find the proof, confront him, and end it. But now that the moment had passed, a strange emptiness settled over her. Was this what justice felt like? A soft creak made her turn. She wasn't alone. Olivia stood at the top of the staircase, her small frame silhouetted by the dim hallway light. Margaret's heart clenched. She wiped her blood-streaked hands on her dress and took slow steps toward the girl. Olivia sat on her bed, knees pulled to her chest. Her face was streaked with silent tears. Margaret sat beside her, brushing the girl's hair back with shaky fingers. "I'm so sorry, baby," she whispered. Olivia sniffled, refusing to meet her eyes. "I didn't know what to do." Margaret's own voice wavered. "I know." She reached for the gun again. Her hands were steady this time. A single shot. The room fell into silence. When the police arrived, Margaret was already sitting on the front porch, her hands covered in blood. The gun rested beside her on the wooden steps. She didn't resist when the officers pulled her to her feet, cuffing her wrists behind her back. Inside the house, officers moved through the scene. One murmured something under his breath as he passed the bodies. Another crossed himself before covering Olivia with a sheet. The warnings not to tell. The way Olivia had flinched when she walked into a room. It had never been James. It was me. Margaret's chest tightened. She gripped the edges of her prison cot, gasping for breath. Had she really convinced herself it was him? Had she buried the truth so deep that she had believed her own lies? A sudden wave of nausea hit her. She bent forward, dry heaving, as the weight of what she had done crushed her. James had been innocent. She had murdered an innocent man. She had silenced the real victim. A small, broken laugh bubbled from her lips. It sounded more like a sob. She had thought she was the hero, the avenger, the one who had saved Olivia. But she wasn't. She was the monster, and she had punished the wrong man. The prison walls felt smaller than ever. Margaret sat on her cot, the letter still clutched in her shaking hands. For the first time since the night she pulled the trigger, she bowed her head. But she didn't pray for forgiveness. She knew better than that. There was no saving her now. The camera fades to black. Then a final image appears. A locked diary. A gloved hand picks it up, opens it. The pages are filled with Olivia's writing. The truth, hidden in plain sight. One last sentence lingers on the screen. Monsters aren't born, they're made. Fade to black. Hit that like button and subscribe for more disturbing true crime stories.